Welcome to John Lee's 3D Learning. In this presentation, we are going to see chemical changes and reactions. The topic is single displacement reaction. So this is one of the four main types of chemical reactions. So in the previous two presentation, we have seen combination reaction and decomposition reaction. So now we are going to see single displacement reaction. So what is meant by single displacement reaction? So before we get into the definition, we try to understand what it is. So by taking some example here, it's so simple and so easy to understand. For example, you take an element A and a compound BC. So A is element and BC, no, BC is a compound because B is positive ion, C is negative ion, therefore this is a compound. The element may be either positive element or negative element, that doesn't matter. So here what happens is, if the element is positive element or metal, then what will happen? This will displace the positive ion from the compound. So B is positive, C is negative. So if A is positive, that will displace B, and A takes the place of B and combines with C and forms AC. Okay, let us take D. So D is a negative element and BC is a compound. Okay, let's say B is positive and C is negative. So here D is a negative element, no? Therefore that will displace a negative element or negative ion from the compound. Therefore C will come out and D will go into the place of the C, that is BD. So there are two types of single displacement reaction. It depends on the type of the element. So if the element is positive, that will displace the positive ion from the compound. If the element is negative, that will displace the negative ion from the compound. So from this, what we can define? So what is meant by single displacement reaction? A chemical reaction in which a more active element displaces a less active element from its salt solution is called a single displacement reaction. So here A is displacing B. So this is a salt solution of the compound BC. We have to dissolve it in water. Take compound B, dissolve it in water. That is what is known as salt solution. And A should be more reactive than B. Only then A can displace B. Similarly here, D should be more reactive than C. Only then D can displace C. That's what it is given here. A chemical reaction in which a more reactive or more active element displaces a less active element from its salt solution. What I told you, salt solution, dissolve a compound in water. So that will be known as its salt solution. Okay, so the element should be more active than the ions present in that compound. Only then that can displace. Hope you understood what is meant by single displacement reaction. And also, and try to understand the next question. How can you recognize the type of chemical reaction is a single displacement reaction? Suppose the reactants are given. How will you recognize whether that will undergo combination or decomposition or single displacement? Just by looking at the nature of the reactants. One should be element, the other should be a compound. Then it's very clear it will undergo single displacement reaction. But there is one condition. What is that? When the element is not a part of the compound. So this element should not be same as the positive ion of the compound or the negative ion of the compound. This element should be entirely different from the positive and negative ion of the compound. That is what is meaning. That is what is the meaning of this one. When the element is not a part of the compound. Okay, so if you take A, it can be BC, the compound may be BC. Suppose you take A, if the compound is also AC, then this is common, no? So the same element is present as positive ion in the compound. Then this will not take place. Then combination reaction will take place. That we have learnt in combination reaction. But here one should be element, the other one should be a compound. But what is the condition? The element should not be same as either the positive ion or negative ion. Or in common you can say element should not be a part of the compound. Then it will undergo single displacement reaction. This is how we can recognize whether the reaction will be undergoing a single displacement or not. Okay. So now, so we see some example. So A plus BC gives AC plus B. So A is displacing B. That means what? A is the positive element here. And take the next example. See, for example, let us take the first one. A, B is positive, C is negative. Since B is displaced, the positive ion is displaced. Therefore, A should be positive here. That is why A is displacing B It is coming out separately, and A takes the place of B and forms AC. You take this example, X plus BC gives BX. That means what? It is displacing C. So C is a negative ion in the compound. Therefore, X should be a negative element. That is why it is displacing C and takes the place of C and forms BX. You got it, no? Okay, now let us see some example that will be very clear to us. So element 1 plus compound 1 gives element 2 plus compound 2. So that is what is the exact meaning of this equation. So let us take this one. For example, you have taken zinc. Zinc is element. Okay, it's alone, no? It's a positive element, we know, because its charge is plus 2. Then copper 2 sulfate. Copper is positive, sulfate is negative. We know this. This is positive, this sulfate is negative. Therefore, this is a compound. So zinc is positive element. Therefore, zinc will displace which one from the compound? Positive can displace only positive. Therefore, copper separates out. And zinc takes the place of the copper and forms zinc sulfate. It is not that just substituting zinc with copper, but luckily the valencies are same here. That is why it is coming right. Zinc valency 2, sulfate valency is also 2. Therefore, when you interchange, you get ZnSO4. Similarly, for copper sulfate, how you get the formula? Copper 2 sulfate. Copper is Cu, sulfate is SO4. Copper 2 valency is 2, sulfate valency is also 2. If you simplify, you get 1:1. Therefore, when you interchange, you get CuSO4. See, all these things you should be very thorough, no, with symbols and valencies, the charge of the ions, which we have learnt in the previous chapter, language of chemistry. See, unless you know this, you will be struggling throughout learning chemistry. So master these symbols, valencies and charges, everything. So the chemistry becomes very, very easy then. So here zinc is positive element, therefore that displaces positive ion, copper from the compound, and copper comes out, and zinc takes its place and combines with sulfate, and you can get the formula by applying the 4 steps rule. Okay. So now let us see one more example. Here it is chlorine plus potassium bromide. So we know chlorine is a negative element. Chlorine is a negative element. And potassium bromide. Potassium is positive, bromide is negative. Since it is a negative element, that will displace the negative ion bromine from the compound. So Br2. So what I told you, there are 7 elements which are diatomic. When you write separately, we have to write them with 2. Br2. I have. So what we learnt? I have no clever or bright friends. No iodine, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, oxygen, bromine and fluorine. So here bromine, therefore it should be written as Br2. And chlorine also, here it is written as Cl2. Hope you understood now. A negative element can displace the negative ion from the compound and takes its place. So when chlorine goes to the bromine place, you cannot write KCl2. So what you need to write? You have to apply the 4 steps rule. Potassium is K, chloride is Cl, valency 1 and 1, therefore you get KCl. Understand? You cannot simply replace bromine and you cannot write KCl2 here. Clear? So when you are writing the formula of a compound, we have to apply the 4 steps rule, no? How to write the formula of a compound. We have to always apply that rule. You should know the symbols, you should know the valencies, and using them how to write the molecular formula correctly. Only then chemistry becomes very easy to you. Hope you understood, no? What are the 2 types of single displacement reaction. So only the more reactive element can displace the less reactive element. So there is a series, no? Series of elements will be given. So that is called metal reactivity series. See, all the metals which are very reactive will be in the top of the series and less reactive elements will be at the bottom of the table. Okay, that we will learn in the 11th episode, 9th episode, or after 2. So now we are learning single displacement reaction, no? So next topic is double displacement reaction. After that, I will give you that metal reactivity series. So you need to learn that metal reactivity series also very thoroughly. Only then you will come to know which is more active and which is less reactive. No, you can understand. Unless you know the chart, unless you know the list, it is very tough to answer these type of questions. So I will be giving you after 1 or 2 video lessons in this chapter. So what is the last one? Magnesium plus sulfuric acid. So here it is, magnesium is positive element. In sulfuric acid, hydrogen is positive, then sulfate is negative. Since magnesium is positive, that will displace hydrogen. So therefore H2 we need to write. See, hydrogen also one of those 7 diatomic elements. No, see here, it is coming here as H2. So therefore it is written as H2, and magnesium take the place of hydrogen and forms magnesium sulfate. How magnesium sulfate forms? Magnesium sulfate. Magnesium valency 2, sulfate valency is also 2. Therefore when you simplify, you get 1:1. So when you interchange, you get MgSO4. So that is what we need to write here. Hope you got it. So that's all about the single displacement reaction. So zinc plus hydrochloric acid, chlorine plus potassium iodide, iron plus sulfuric acid, then aluminium plus chromic oxide. I give you some clue here. Based on that, you should be able to write. Zinc is element, hydrogen chloride, no, that is a compound. So since zinc is positive, that will displace hydrogen. Therefore one of the products will be hydrogen. That should be written as H2. And zinc will combine with chlorine, form zinc chloride. So apply the rule, know how to get the formula from zinc chloride. Okay, for one thing I will tell you here. Zinc and chloride, zinc valency is 2, chloride valency is 1. Therefore when you interchange, you will get ZnCl2. So here the product will be hydrogen and ZnCl2. For other things, you should be able to write yourself from the clue what I am giving you here. So chlorine plus potassium iodide. Chlorine is a negative element. Therefore that will displace a negative ion, iodine. So when it comes out separately, we need to write I2. And chlorine will take the place of the iodine. So you need to write K and Cl, valency 1 and 1. Accordingly, you have to find the formula of potassium chloride and write here. Okay, next one, iron plus sulfuric acid. So iron is positive element. In sulfuric acid, hydrogen is positive and sulfate is negative. Therefore iron will displace the hydrogen. Therefore one of the products will be H2. And iron will combine with sulfate and forms iron 2 sulfate. So here you have to take iron 2 as its valency, not 3. Okay, iron 2 sulfate. And sulfate valency is also 2, and based on that you derive the formula. And next one, aluminium plus chromic oxide. Aluminium is positive element. In chromic oxide compound, chromium is positive, oxide is negative. Therefore positive will displace positive chromium. Therefore you will get chromium here. So chromium we have to write only Cr. We should not write Cr2. Only those 7 diatomic elements we need to write like that. Here it should be written as Cr only. Okay, then plus aluminium will combine with oxygen, forms aluminium oxide. You cannot write simply AlO3 by combining. So aluminium oxide, aluminium valency 3, oxide valency 2. If you interchange, what you get, that will be the formula of aluminium oxide. So like this, you have to take lots of examples from your textbook, and wherever you are seeing some equation, no, you should try to get the answer on your own and try to balance them all. So that is how you should make it a habit of learning. It is not that just learning for the exam only this particular example and memorizing them and writing in the exam and scoring marks. No, that will not help you out in the long run. When you go for competitive examination, that will not work out. That is why we need to practice with this basic idea by solving, by taking various examples. In your textbook, they are given so many equations. What you need is some ideas like this. So learn the ideas from our video lessons and try to apply on your own and get the answers yourself. Hope you liked it and you enjoyed learning it. So thank you very much for watching, and if you like it, please click the like button and share it with your friends. Until we meet next time, bye bye.